Is this a factual show or a show that
it's all the current researchers.
Oh,
it's the billionaire who owns it, and it's like interviews with him.
Right, that's what's his name?
What the fuck is Skinwalker?
He's one of those space guys.
He bought it from him.
This guy bought it from him?
Yeah, that space dude, whoever his name is, had it for 20 years.
Yeah, he did.
And so this season they actually even brought on one of the guys who's...
They said they had new owners.
Yeah, it's a portal. A guy gets hit, like legit gets hit with a radioactive wave, and his finger half falls off. And they go back there, like it's just a well. And so he got shot with a radioactive, takes his finger. And like they see things and like...
That's what they say, man.
The guy goes in there and he's like, my goal is to just discredit this. And I'm going to keep an open mind. But that guy, like rocket scientist, PhD from Harvard kind of dude, in the first half of the first season, he's kind of like, I can explain this. But then by the end of it, he's like, I don't know what to tell you. Because there's a fucking UFO right now. And by this season, they're just insane.
Yeah, they say it's a very unusual place. A lot of weird stuff goes on. I don't know, I'm almost of the feeling that maybe aliens aren't from another planet. Maybe they're from here. They live deep underground or deep in the ocean.
Yeah, in the lakes around Michigan.
Because, I mean, you go like to the Mariana Trench, we can only go down so far. Crush whatever we build.
Crush your head.
And they say
your fucking fluids can't work at that pressure.
Right. They say they see them coming out of the water all the time, all around the world. All the volcanoes and water all the time.
That's the lizard people, isn't it?
I don't know if it's the lizard people. It's something.
You know what I just read? You know the Book of Enoch?
Yeah.
Just this week I read the Book of Enoch.
That's the book they took out of the Bible.
Mm-hmm. It's the most interesting book in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling around. Have you ever read this?
Mm-hmm. Do you know about Enoch?
He was Noah's great-grandfather.
I tried to read the Bible one time back in the day, about 10 years ago. It was literally fucking 2 pages, and like, dude, this is stupid.
You can't read the Bible like that.
Here's the thing.
I know, you're not supposed to read the whole thing. Like, it's not something you read.
No. It kickstarts with God had to wipe out the planet. They're bad people, and that's where it kickstarts, right? Enoch tells the story of like 200 people came here who were told don't touch those human women, and then they touched those human women and created offspring that were giants. Mm-hmm. And like God came in and who thought women were inferior and you should never be with a woman, came in and said, I'm going to kill y'all. And
it's so fucking good. Is it? Yeah, it's a big Mac.
I'm not listening.
Literally.
Anyway,
I'm listening.
Enoch has to deliver the news that they're going to kill him. And then he meets Michael, the angel. And
oh my god, that honey is unbelievable.
Isn't it? With the peppers?
Mm-hmm.
He travels around the world. He explains, he sees waterfalls, and like they usher him around the world. He explains snow. And he goes up to a spaceship. And he even begins this book with like, I'm going to explain to you the best I humanly can with the words I know.
This is actually in the Bible, or is this a lost...
It's a book of the Bible.
But they found it by the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
Right, because it was something that was not put in.
Correct. It went to Kenya, I believe, is where it's been. And so like they didn't even have it at the time they assembled the Bible. But they look and they're like, these stories are intertwined. This is a Bible book. He goes and he's like, I see the lights through the crystals and I see all the stars. And he's talking about looking out at planet Earth.
Right.
But it name drops. Like straight up, like here are the details on the fuckers that were like a part of this. And anyway, it didn't make it to the Bible, but it's really interesting.
So it's some stories from around that time.
All around that time. They name drop, they talk about Noah. Noah talks about Enoch in the Bible.
So
they're related.
Mm-hmm.
What sucks is that it's also very possible that this dude is just who's the dude from Scientology?
Ron L. Hubbard?
Yes, he's just another Ron L. Hubbard, but he happened to be a Ron L. Hubbard from that time.
Maybe.
You know, because that's like.
Well, I don't know what kind of education.
I mean, a
Enoch
fiction
had.
writer. You can put any fiction. Stephen King.
Oh, you mean who wrote the book?
Yeah, who wrote that book? Enoch's book. It could have been more instead of a.
But who wrote any of the books? I mean, when you really think about it, we don't know who wrote any of the books.
Well,
I mean, really,
Enoch,
we don't.
didn't he?
No. It's the story of Enoch.
Oh.
He didn't write it.
Oh, because it's a story of Enoch that he told you, and then you told him the story.
The Bible goes and
Let me tell you
reads about
something. The Greeks
Plato.
did a lot of research, or supposed research, for a lot of these stories. You got to take with a little grain of salt.
Well, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, because it's translated into, other, from ancient language into more modern
Well,
language.
and you have no
and
reference.
you lose stuff on that too.
And you have no reference of this writer was fictional. I mean, I know.
Well, it had to be fictional to a certain degree because
Maybe not.
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ had been dead 300 years when all this stuff came out. He'd already been dead 300 years.
Yeah.
So
you have like the book, the Dead Sea Scrolls were the oldest copies of the Old Testament they've ever found. In the New Testament as well, I believe. By over 1,000 years when they found him out by the Dead Sea.
yeah, Bedouin slaves found him in a cave.
Yeah, and they found the Book of Enoch right around the corner by the Dead Sea. So they're all like written at the same time. They're all on the same parchment, all date back. They just got separated, so nobody knew when they were assembling the Bible that the Enoch book even existed potentially.
But those scrolls are like all the other ones where it was 300 years after this shit happened. And people telling the story that it finally got written down.
But like you have the Book of Judas.
And what happens when people tell stories to each other?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
not
even in the
written down.
Bible, they disagree on how Judas died.
Yeah.
One says he hung himself, one said he jumped off a cliff. But the Book of Judas, he straight up says, Jesus told me to do it. Jesus told me, you need me to turn me in to kickstart the campaign of, like, my resurrection. Gotcha. Which one do you want?
Got one?
Oh, in the future, I'm so getting this.
Isn't that
It's
amazing?
Yeah, it
It's-
is. So,
my
Judas,
God.
do you know about the Book of Judas?
You should really try a piece
Not a lot.
Oh, okay. So, Judas...
this Mac pizza.
Well,
Alright.
Judas basically comes out and says, Jesus wanted me to kill him, or like kickstart his campaign of getting killed, so I was just the one to turn him in, and he trusted me to do it, because I was his closest follower, so like I understood the reason I
so
needed
this is
to do
what Judas said.
This is Judas's book.
Yeah.
Found in the Dead Sea. And so Judas is like, this is my side of the story. And Judas is thought to be potentially Mary and Joseph's real son. Because Judas was with the Jesus right when Jesus went
Wait a
out.
minute, is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, they could have had an actual kid. They were married.
Yeah, but
Jesus was just
the
given
timeline don't add up, does it?
Why not? He was one of Jesus' apostles. He was one of his 12 apostles. And in the book of Judas, he talks about being there at the very beginning. And so they just theorized, or they could be cousins,
Some type of relative.
but they grew up together. But they were the closest. The book of Thomas says reincarnation is what's happening. He believes we're in hell right now. There are multiple situations where he pushes Jesus for like info. In the book of Thomas claims Jesus pulls him outside and says, I'm going to tell you 3 things, and you cannot tell anybody else, ever. Thomas says, okay. Thomas, in his book, says, Jesus told me 3 things, and when I went inside, Peter and Paul were like, what did he tell you? You know, what just happened? What were you going on outside?
For your wrench.
Thank you. And he goes, I can't tell you, and even if I did, you'd kill me. And that's all he talks about it. And so when they have that in the Bible, they're probably like, fuck that book. You know, like, that's weird. That's out there. So it never made it into the Bible.
I must say, man, if it's tough because all 3 of them are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Even the fucking chicken cordon bleu is like on fucking point. Like a little bit of mustard on that, dude, unbelievable. That right there surprised the fuck out of me.
Which
That
one is that?
honey
The
one,
cheeseburger?
honey
The
one,
Daft Punk?
it's literally just honey, goat cheese, mozzarella
That's
cheese.
what I had.
Yeah, and some red pepper flakes.
It was good. It was different.
Yeah.
I would get this if I was to only have access to one next door.
What is the best pizza in your mind? Do you think you've had in your life?
Italy.
In New York,
Really?
in the Bronx,
Big,
No doubt.
big. Was it New York style?
big slice
Big slice.
that you could fold up and eat. But the
How long ago
flavor,
was this?
well, that place has been there and still there in New York.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, but the taste, they had the perfect amount of tomato sauce and cheese, and it was like parts of it were crunchy, like the edges were crunchy. Oh, it's just a beautiful pizza, man. That's the best I ever had. You know,
What about local? Favorite local?
This place now.
yeah.
Where is this?
Hippies. It's over in Clawson.
Yeah,
It's
this is
at
the second
13
time I
mile.
had some stuff from there.
It's
It was
over by
really good.
Star.
Oh, I've had this before then.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
It's
I-
over at 13 Mile and Main
When I
Street.
lived in Clawson.
Yeah.
I'll be real honest with you. All those pizzas taste the same to me, basically. All the brands I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I'm not talking about the little independents.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Independence. That's what. Do you have an independent spot you can think of that's still around?
No,
No.
I used to have one. It used to be one on. It used to be this place on Woodward and 7 Mile, and he made pizzas, and he made this hot submarine sandwich. Him and his dad.
7 Mile Woodward. What part?
Do you know where that donut place is?
Yeah,
there?
the one that's still there.
Yeah, he used to be right next door to there. And man, and they were motorcycle guys. Him and his dad, they had tattoos and shit, and they made the sandwich that was just unbelievable. We'd go. Sometimes I go there 3 times in one day. It was so good. People be lined up for it.
Dude, I always drive by that place. Like, we'll get to that in a second. What's your favorite pizza you've ever had?
I was in Italy. It was like a street vendor that my cousin told us to go to. There's no indoor seating. It's like the size of half of a Jimmy John's. But they have a wood fire oven pizza,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
just give the employees free reign make any type of pizza you want. Here, all the ingredients, whatever you're in the mood to make. So, but it's like food truck speed. You know, people are coming in, and this guy had one that had like cranberry, whatever the little chewy, not the cranberry ones, the dot ones that are crunchy, whatever they are.
Okay.
Oh, he's talking about. I know what he's talking about. Pomegranates.
Pomegranates. It had pomegranate and it had
It's so
onion
good. Oh,
on it, and it had like this certain type of swirl cheese. Anyway,
pomegranates are so good.
I think, to be honest, I like American style so much that I like Red Devil. To me, a Red Devil pepperoni pizza is just, it's that greasy style, like New York style. Not as big, obviously,
Yeah.
but because in Sweden they had a place like that. It was the kind of place where it was literally it was a piece of bread and they put some sauce and whatever. Like, I got sauce. It was a shrimp. I got the shrimp one, so it was whatever sauce was. Just sprinkle some fucking shrimp on there and sprinkle a little, like a couple slices of cheese, and then toss it in the oven, and then they give it to you whole. They don't cut it or nothing. They're like, just here's your pizza on a
the
plate.
same as this place. It was like a big open table that was behind glass, and you walk in and they're just keep on putting them out, and you're just like,
Well, this one's a little fancier. This one was like, it used to be one of those places where it had a building like this, but then some like the Kardashians of Sweden, you know what I'm saying, like that.
Whoever they are.
Whoever they are, because where Pella and Brian live is like it's like living. It's pretty close to living in like Beverly Hills
Okay.
here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's really fucking nice. Grosse Pointe Woods type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So they went to the little spot, and I guess it already had a line out the fucking door. So they put Pella moved into this fucking condo complex type thing, and they put restaurants on the bottom floor, and they moved into there.
oh god.
Yeah, so they're like right on the fucking water, and it's still packed. Like we had to wait forever to get in, type thing. But first time I went, because that place wasn't open the first time. The first time I went, we stopped at an actual real pizza place, like a Swedish pizza place. You think there was a lot of choices for this fucking place? Dude, it's a fucking like for one, I can't read it, so I don't really know what it's saying.
But it was a lot of it.
But there was at least 50 fucking choices. You know what I'm saying? And half the board was all fucking like. Brian's like, yeah, I don't eat any of that stuff. There's like 4 pizzas right here that I eat, which are kind of American style, but they're not really. They're just American in the sense that they have ham and like pepperoni or something on them instead of fucking fish. Everything else got fish. I'm like, I'll try a tuna one, thinking it's gonna be like tuna. Like, I would eat a tuna fish pizza if it was like the way I would make a tuna pizza is I would make it like we just had that kind of bread, but I'd put like. Whatever sauce, like I would probably go Asian because I think in my head tuna. Like,
it leads itself better to tuna.
Yeah, I would go a little Asian, but I would use I wouldn't cook the tuna on the fucking pizza. I would cook the pizza and then I would use a charred, not a charred, but a raw piece of tuna that I had, done a little flip here and there, like put some marks on.
Yeah. And
slice it into chunks and put that on the pizza. So it's like you're getting. Like almost a sushi pizza.
Yeah.
But somewhat cooked. Because we went to. Have you eaten at cheesecake? A Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah.
We ate at one in fucking Florida, in Tampa, and the chicken marcellas. Oh my god, it's one of the best chicken marcellas I've ever had in my life. And I made a lot of chicken marsala in my life. Yeah. Whatever fucking wine they use was so much fucking better than the shit they were using. Anyways, and the chicken was better too, but someone also got seared fucking tuna, which was literally these 4
pieces.
They had them stand up, and they were all seared up and real pretty on the outside, but fucking that beautiful bright red
on the inside.
On the inside, yeah, towers off. That's what I think of when I'm like, if I
at a Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, at a Cheesecake Factory.
I've never been to. That kind of Cheesecake Factory when I was
The Cheesecake Factory.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about
that's the brand name.
You know that started here.
Yeah.
And they don't have it here anymore because of some dispute they had with Detroit.
There used to be one downtown.
Yeah, that's where the original. It started in the basement. I think she was making the cheesecakes in a fucking basement. I think it was on Jefferson in Detroit.
Yeah.
And then it became one of like a super. There's one in Chicago we tried to go to when we went to Chicago back about 10 years ago. And my sister, like, you gotta understand, at this time, I'm, like, big. I'm, like, a lot fucking bigger than I was.
Yeah.
And I'm with my buddy Juddy. And you remember Juddy? You ever meet Juddy? I don't think you got to meet Juddy. He's a guy I worked with. He was taller than me and bigger than me.
Damn.
And my sister's not huge, but she was a little big at the time. And her husband's, your size. He's a normal guy. They put us at a fucking 4-top that was like the tiniest 4-top. It wasn't even a 4-top. It was kind of like a 2-top that they had like stuck some chairs around. Yeah. And we're like, what? You see us? Not only that, we waited an hour and a half to get in. Like we were in wait for an hour and a half to get in this fucking place because it's in it's downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's always got a fucking wait.
You always gotta wait.
Yeah. So she ran up. She just fuck this place. Fuck Cheesecake Factory. She's yelling at it until she went off for no fucking reason. But the tuna that was on the pizza in Sweden is canned tuna.
No.
Yeah, it was cooked canned tuna. Whatever cheese they used, and it was. I tried to eat a whole piece.
In the middle of a podcast, right?
Couldn't even stomach it.
I ate one piece. I couldn't finish it. I'm like, I'll try to eat it tomorrow, and I tried a little the next day. I was like, no.
You can't eat leftover salmon.
Dude, it was horrible.
Leftover fish, period.
Okay.
Just gets in my head.
Pella, it wasn't salmon, it was tuna.
Tuna, I mean.
Yeah, it was, Pella was, he finished that shit because he eats a lot of fish.
We doing one more?
Yeah, we got one more.
Cool.
Yeah, I figured a little food break, but I gotta get it open.